You found it. Your home for the best content on your favorite team, the Fighting Tigers of LSU. Do us a favor, subscribe to the channel, leave your comments below, and be sure to smash that like button. What a weekend for LSU for the future of the football program. Not one, but two commitments pop over the weekend. On Sunday, Kade Phillips flips from Texas to LSU. On Saturday, it was Mike Tyler, the tight end out of South Carolina, who picked the Tigers. Let's start there just to go chronologically. So this was expected. Mike Tyler from Columbia, South Carolina. Love that graphic, by the way. Graphic you'll find at louisianasports.net. Mike Tyler from Columbia, South Carolina. So in the backyard of the Gamecocks. And LSU swoops in and gets the athletic tight end. We talked about Mike Tyler a bit because Shea Dixon had kind of put us onto this, that Tyler was a heavy LSU lean. They thought this was going to happen. 6'3", 230 pounds. I love this because the comp is Mason Taylor. And don't roll your eyes or laugh. But Mason Taylor, when he was coming out of high school, was 6'4", 230. Mike Tyler, 6'3", 230. Mason Taylor in the composite was the number 51 tight end. Mike Tyler's the number 38 tight end. And obviously year to year it varies, but you're talking about very comparable prospects. Guys that need to get bigger, grow into their body, but have the frame to do it and have the athleticism as pass catchers. So yes, I like it. You beat out South Carolina and NC State and Ole Miss. He had offers also from a whole bunch of Power 5 programs. Georgia Tech, Maryland, Virginia Tech, Duke, West Virginia. It's a big, long list. So, and the thing I always say about tight ends, you know it by now. Brian Kelly has pumped tight ends into the NFL draft more than any other position save offensive line. In his 10 years at Notre Dame, Brian Kelly had 8 tight ends drafted in 10 years. If you go back to Brian Kinchin at LSU in the 1988 draft, from 1989 to present day, LSU has had 8 tight ends drafted. So Brian Kelly had as many tight ends drafted in his decade at Notre Dame as LSU has had from 1989 to present day. 35 years. Y'all, that is massively impressive. So if Brian Kelly likes a prospect at tight end, I'm good with it. Let's just say it like that. So Mike Tyler becomes the second tight end in the class of 2025. He joins J.D. LaFleur, son of David LaFleur, an LSU legacy and a former first-round pick at tight end. And remember, you're very likely going to lose Mason Taylor this year to the draft. So if Mason Taylor's gone, with Mac Markway and Jackson McGowan already transferring out, the only tight ends scholarship tight ends you still have on the roster then next year would be Kamorian Pimpton and Trey Green. So you've got to fortify that spot. Now here's the second commit for the class of 2025 at tight end. The 23rd commit overall. That popped on Saturday night. And then Sunday, LSU turned the trick again. It was Kade Phillips flipping from Texas to LSU. Another hat tip to Shea Dixon, who kind of put us onto this, that this was what last Tuesday when we talked to Shea. So look, Kade Phillips was one of 3 names he gave us as guys that could flip to LSU, and less than a week later, that actually happened. So Kade Phillips, just a little more than a month ago, beginning of July, committed to Texas. 6 foot, 185-pounder. He's out of Missouri City, which is the Houston area. So guy from the Houston area commits to Texas. A month later, he flips to LSU. He's a 4-star in the composite, the number 18 cornerback. But on 3, thinks much more highly of Kade Phillips. On 3, ranks Kade Phillips as the number 65 overall prospect in the country. Any position, number 65, and the 7th best cornerback. And he had offers, again, you look at the offer list, from everybody. LSU, Texas, Texas A&M, Baylor, Arizona State, Auburn, Oregon, Michigan, Penn State, Missouri, Ole Miss, TCU, Nebraska, Arkansas, on and on and on and on. There's a million of them. So now when you look at the cornerback position for LSU in 2025, DJ Pickett's committed, the number 1 corner in the country. Now you add Kade Phillips to that list as well. Remember, you're going to lose Sage Ryan and Zy Alexander to eligibility. You're bringing in Pickett, Phillips, maybe Aiden Anding. You may not be done there. Remember, you're likely returning Ashton Stamps and J.K. Johnson and Jair Brown and Javen Toviano, P.J. Woodland, Bernard Causey, Michael Turner, Wallace Foster. So you got a lot of numbers, but you got to keep supplementing because you don't know what's going to happen in the transfer portal. But I'll say this again. Two things. Number one, I love Phillips as a prospect, and I love that you flipped him from Texas. Like we always talk about when it's Louisiana prospects, right? When LSU doesn't land a Louisiana prospect that they want, it always stings more when they go to an SEC school or someone you're going to play. When Devontae Smith goes to Alabama, that sucks. When Jacoby Matthews is a 5-star safety from Ponchatoula goes to Texas A&M, that sucks. When last year or 2 years ago, Aaron Anderson and Chaz Preston went to Alabama, that sucks, right? Derek Williams, Wardell Mack both went to Texas, right? Louisiana kids that went to a school that was coming into the SEC. It's way easier, more palatable when a kid from the state that you don't get when Jaden Ausberry goes to Notre Dame. You wanted him, but he went to a place where you're never going to see him. So it's not going to hurt you. So think about that. And this Texas fans are feeling that today. This is a kid from the Houston area. They had committed, and he flipped. So not only out of their class, but flipped to a school that they're going to have to play because LSU and Texas are going to play eventually. So big win in that respect. The other thing that I got to mention, and a lot of you know what I'm going to say and where I'm going to go with this, but all you people, and you know who you are, all you people who defamed, who blasphemed against Corey Raymond, you should know better. Oh, I heard it all. Corey Raymond got lazy. Corey Raymond can't recruit anymore. Corey Raymond lost his fastball. Corey Raymond, blah, 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 blah. I try to tell y'all in the same way that 82-year-old Pete Jenkins came into Baton Rouge last year when LSU's defense stunk and he got out there and made the defensive line better. Corey Raymond didn't forget how to backpedal and flip his hips. You know what I mean? Corey Raymond knows how to coach DBs. He didn't lose that. And he didn't stop recruiting at LSU. He had Elias Ricks here. He had Dwight McGlothern here. He had Jay Ward, Cordell Flott. They had recruited Sage Ryan, who was a 5-star. They got Mo Hampton, who was a highly regarded guy. Didn't work out. Baseball, two-sport guy. They had Radarius Jones and Demarius McGee and LaTerrence Walsh. They had guys there. Your head coach ran the program into the ground. New coach came in, didn't retain Corey Raymond. All those guys left. So you had a heavy transfer portal class. You hit on all those guys. Mekhi Gardner, Jark Bernard Converse, Greg Brooks, Joe Fouché. You hit on all of them. And then they were all gone after 1 year. And the class you brought in, you whiffed on all of them. You whiffed on Denver Harris and Deuce Chestnut and all those guys. So, now you bring back Corey Raymond. Who's got anything to say anymore? Said it at the time, I'll say it again. The single biggest mistake Brian Kelly made when he was hired, the single biggest, was not retaining Corey Raymond. I'm not saying it's the only one, but it was the single biggest mistake he made, was not retaining Corey Raymond. Because if you retain Corey Raymond then, you keep Elias Ricks, and you keep Dwight McGlothern, and you keep maybe Radarius Jones and Demarius McGee and LaTerrence Welch and all these, and you don't have this massive turnover, and you don't have to go get a heavy portal class, and you keep recruiting top-tier guys, and maybe Wardell Mack ends up at LSU. And anyway, the point is, if there was any lingering question or doubt about Corey Raymond, can y'all punt that forever? You know who you are. I don't need to go onto Twitter and do the old takes exposed thing because you know who you are. All I'm saying right now, I'm asking y'all, can y'all just bury that forever? Like, mea culpa, just be done. We're good. You know, peace offering, olive branch, all that stuff. Just not talk about that ever again. Can we agree now we're just not going to talk about that anymore? Huge get. LSU's class up to 24 for the class of 2025, and they ain't done. A couple of big time. Aiden Anding's going to announce this weekend. Of course, Jonah Williams, the number one safety in America, is going to announce this weekend. See if the Tigers can get good news there. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact, and be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.